I should have done this video way sooner, 1.5 months ago, where Jordan Peterson got criticized on Twitter for expressing his opinion on an overweight woman who was Yumi, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this thing right here. And they said that in any way she's not beautiful, and something like totalitarian authority, which are hard things to say, but I think that nature and life are hard, so you must go hard on them. So they are right things, he said, because as much as I would like to say, well, yes, there are people who like overweight models, no, there are not. Overweight is always seen as a bad thing, as someone who ignores his health and his body. If you eat unhealthy food and you're pregnant, also your baby is not going to be so healthy. He's gonna to start off with a disadvantage, and also it can work the other way. You can eat healthy and your baby starts with an advantage. But how can you tell someone who's fat to eat healthy for his baby while she will ignore you? She will ignore you. She even ignores her health. She will ignore someone who is not her. So I would watch the video and comment on it, and then express more on my opinion about it.
A couple weeks ago, you tweeted something out that, yeah, I'm bringing it up, that got a crazy amount of attention, which did it?
Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, I believe you're referring to.
Yes.
I tweeted out, sorry, not beautiful. Yeah, people weren't very happy with that.
And then everyone got upset.
Yes, they did. And then I left Twitter again, more or less, right after that. And everyone assumed that that was why. And it wasn't.
No.
It was, I suppose in some sense it was, because what happened was an indication of the problem with Twitter. But I had been not reading Twitter comments for about 3 weeks, although I had been tweeting through an intermediary, one of my staff members. So I'd email him a tweet, but not reading comments, because I found that quite
irksome.
Yeah,
like you're associating with the
devil.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it was like sort of like standing in a public park where anybody, no matter who they were, could come up and yell at you to any size audience about anything they wanted, day or night. And so I've been thinking that through. I'm going to write an article about what's wrong with Twitter and social media in general. But no, I looked at the Sports Illustrated cover, and they had a rather overweight young woman, quite symmetrical, so nice facial features and so forth, with a very revealing swimsuit on the cover. And I thought, no, like not in a personal way, but it's unbelievably manipulative for about 3 different reasons. The first is it's a very tawdry attempt to capitalize on cheap sales. Yes,
so Yumi, who's an overweight person, what the hell, model? What is a model? It's someone in life who you should follow to improve it, to make your life better. Becoming obese or overweight is not a model type which you should follow. And also saying it's okay to be fat, no, it's not okay, and neither is fat shaming.
I mean cheap in a specific way. Sports Illustrated hit the gold mine with their swimsuit cover, I suppose 20 years ago, whenever they established that. Because it was obviously it's a sports magazine, so it's about athletics. It's about athletic people. It's about athletic bodies. And they had a swimsuit issue, and it really was a big hit. And then it became kind of a cultural icon. And it's a very specific kind of cultural icon because it focuses on a very exceptional kind of high-end beauty. And so that beauty would involve symmetry and signals of youth, because that's part of beauty, sexual beauty, physical beauty, waist to hip ratio for women. But with Sports Illustrated, it's also highlighting a kind of athleticism in body type. And that's a very specific form of beauty. You have to be young, you have to be female, generally, you have to be extremely athletic, you have to be shapely in a very particular way, and that would be with a waist to hip ratio of 0.68, because that's what's been established cross-culturally as ideal from the perspective of male sexual interest, let's say, but that's also associated with fertility.
Yeah.
And so it's a marker that has a biological basis. And so even if you're a very beautiful woman, you're hard pressed.
Yes, in sports magazine, they promote bodies which are healthy, because one person should strive to be healthy. You know, healthy, you study better, you have better performances, you are happier, you have a better social life, you can pursue achievements in a better way, you have more discipline, you are kinder, you're more happy with yourself, you are also able to protect the ones you love more, and so on. All the positive attributes. Health is one of the first things one person should watch about the other. Like if I would choose between a fat person and a healthy person with $1 million, or a healthy person who's broke, to be in a relationship, a particularly healthy person, that's I will choose the second, a healthy person. I think that health is the best indicator for to decide our relationship.
Has to be beautiful enough to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated for the swimsuit issue. And so it's
also healthy competitivity with the one who Peterson is describing.
It's a pinnacle achievement of sorts, and it's focused on a very idealized and specific form of beauty. And that's obviously exclusionary. It's obviously exclusionary. It excludes everyone. Mm-hmm. Right. And it does that to highlight a kind of ideal, and that's a particular ideal of beauty. And there are some cultural boundaries around that. So you could say, well, it's a westernized form of beauty. It's like, yeah. And you can point to Rubens' paintings of more plump women and say, well, there's an exception. It's like, great. You think you're a genius for finding that exception. Good for you. You know the Rubens painting. Like, more power to you. But that doesn't mean anything at all about the universality of images of beauty. And so the cover bothered me a lot.
Yeah, Rubens wanted to try something out. And just for discovering that more plump women, more fat women are not attractive. There's a universal image of beauty.
Because it was a cheap...
I talked even in the black metal and death metal video, and I said that art, beauty is objective to the subject.
Manipulation of something that had been working very well for Sports Illustrated. It was also an insistence that all of a sudden this non-athletic body type is as beautiful as the standard swimsuit model for Sports Illustrated. And it's not. It's not as athletic, and it's not as healthy, and that's that. And it's also not arbitrary. And so the whole thing is a lie. And then it's a lie that's a manipulation of that young woman. Now, she partakes in that because she participates in it. But it's still, they're not on her side. They're exploiting her, as far as I'm concerned. And she may be participating in that exploitation, but they're still exploiting her. So don't pull any moral stunts on me because you're irritated about my opinion about the Sports Illustrated cover, when it's bloody clear to anybody with eyes that that was manipulative in 20 different ways. And I'm also not willing to sacrifice these ideals for inclusiveness. It's like, no, not everyone's a genius. No, not everyone's Picasso. No, not everyone's young and healthy. And no, not everyone is a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model period. And fuck you if you don't like it. So that's basically what I thought about that. I certainly didn't think it would cause as much trouble as it did. You know, when people were on my case for being mean, it's like, yeah, I know, I'm always mean because, you know, that's...
Well, also, like, life is hard and, like, life is mean, right? And it's hard for people. First of all, I have great sympathy for anybody overweight because of the health struggles I went through. And you lost a whole bunch of weight. It's not like being overweight's fun, right?
No.
That's a whole other problem to get into with, I think people have such an issue losing weight that society has said, you know what, it's fine. Because you've had so much trouble that it's probably your genetics.
Yeah.
So you might...
there's truth in that. Like when I look at someone who's obese on the street, I think, oh, that's too bad. Like, that's too bad. I don't think, you know, obese pig eats too much, has no self-control. I don't think that. I think bad mismatch between genetic proclivity and appalling diet. And the appalling diet is basically, we're not going to get into this, but basically carbohydrate heavy and sugar loaded. And fair enough, you know, we tried hard, the whole world, to make calories cheap. Mm-hmm. And we did that. So no one's starving, and great. But now we have an obesity problem, and it's a major problem. And I'm not going to pretend that it's okay. It's not okay. That doesn't mean I don't have sympathy for it. And I'm not willing to sacrifice any ideals for this idiot inclusiveness. I'm done with that. And so should everyone else be. And I think most people are. And they look at that cover and they know it's manipulative and a lie in a deep sense.
Okay, so that's the video. And I will say that he spoke great. He did a great job. I wanted to look more into it on art as a mean, as a thing. I believe that human life is the greatest form of art in this planet. Like for my case, the highest form of life of art is myself, the one which I must dedicate the most. And then there comes other forms of life like close friends, acquaintances, and so on. I think that choosing your partner to have a family with is like the second most important form of art. And now let's see about something. I said that in my previous video that social hierarchy, that masculinity is a reminder that you are below someone in the social hierarchy. Like for example, if when I tell you, well, I have a monthly salary of $5,000, while another guy has $1,000 of salary a month, and I go on and be arrogant with him because I can do whatever I want, and also Jordan Peterson in his previous videos classified social hierarchy, and he saw it as like going from there to the high end, when there is God, which is absolute, which is pure masculinity, and he is pure health. He has a divine body, like you would say someone who is at the top of the hierarchy. This person is godlike. He has godlike attributes. So reminding someone else that he's below him in the social hierarchy is detrimental to the person on behalf of the more masculine one, which takes his joke and laughs about it. He has his moment of fun while damaging the society. So, another thing, masculine action on oneself are good actions, while masculine actions on someone else are bad actions. And feminine action on oneself are bad actions, while feminine action on the others are good actions. what do I mean with that? I'll take the political compass, which is something I found pretty recently. I would say that it's great, apart from the test, which is, you know, a pretty bad test. And they are always pretty inaccurate. Okay, so here we have it's mostly seen as communism, while here as Nazism, fascism, we hear here the woke ideology, which is the one who is more emerging right now, the one that most people follow. While here we have the libertarian right, like and which is always confounded with capitalism or something like that, or anarchism on that point. So here we have an authority over the people and the government, which is mostly seen as communism. And how can I edit this? Let's see. No, for fuck's sake. All right, there we go. No, not this. I'll have to delete that. All right, something like that. Well, I'm not doing this right. Well, I just get the idea. Well, whatever. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh my god, no. What have I done? So it's the yin and yang. What is this? So that's the union of masculinity and femininity, which is what is right. So one person should strive to be more at this place than yeah, he should strive going here. But many times the person goes here. Okay, so this is emptiness, like you have no faith in someone else nor in yourself, like, and it's typical of communism. Like Solzhenitsyn wrote a book which is longer than the Bible, of a critique of communism. You know, you're a pretty bad government if someone writes a book longer than the Bible to critique your government type. Then here we have what I call pure masculinity, which was seen like in the case of Nazism. And what is a person who has pure masculinity? Like here. Oh wait. Here. Person who has pure masculinity, which is my definition of toxic masculinity. And also Jung pointed out that an imbalance between anima and animus would cause trouble in a person. Pure masculinity is the desire to make your genetics type universal. But if you think about it, every animal, every form of life, every human in this world has a sort of genetics. So by means one who has only faith in oneself and no faith in the others would want his genetics to be confirmed as the only one to be recognized as right. And so what he's going to do? Well, get rid of every genetics. Well, so many killings during this phase, like Adolf Hitler, or anyone who's Nazism, like Mussolini, or something else more. Like, this is our authoritarian, while this is anarchist, because there's the femininity, which is faith in others. But then here you don't have faith in yourself. This is pure femininity, which is the desire of a person to make hedonism of everyone universal. Which, at least he has faith in others, but he wants to do good, but he will do bad. He needs masculinity, which is right here, the fusion of the two. Whereas people here start losing faith in humanity, which is something like this. Well, okay, that was perfectly made. Oh, hell. Oh, hell yeah, baby. Ah! Oh, I'm... Okay, faith in humanity. Here it's none, here it's a maximum. Faith in humanity. And then here it's faith in the self. The two of them must be balanced to live a balanced life. And here is the wholeness of the self, which Jung referred to as the greatest achievement one person can achieve, like self-realization. Then you can transcend, which is give your teachings to others, help others, like Jordan Peterson is doing, help others to live a more balanced life in this zone. So here is oneness of the self. It is the most beautiful form of art. And the faith of the self even determines the aesthetics. Like when we look at a person, we sort it out with their genetics. Like, is this guy genetically gifted? Is this guy great? Is this guy a genius? Is this guy in any way useful to society? So we see the genetics of someone, and we either have a sense of jealousy, or simply we try to be more like him. Also the hero myth, with which we consider someone, the hero, as someone superior to us, because he is in this zone here. He is both balanced in faith in self and faith in humanity. Something like here is the balanced zone, but better going here. What the hell have I done to this? So in faith in the self even increase the aesthetics, but if you are here, you will damage the society. You will because you don't trust it, and you think that society is going to kill you. While if you are here, you know that society will not kill you, and you try to be the best version of yourself possible. This is a model, the yin and yang of the Messiah, like Jesus Christ. And here instead is a zone of passivity. You do nothing in this area usually. So that's it. This is the aesthetics, and as Carl Jung pointed out, one person does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light. But by making the darkness unconscious. Like that's why people love the stories of Hitler. He's one person with great faith in the self, which, however, lacked faith in humanity. So he did a pretty atrocious thing, but the cause of human life must be something like this. When you obtain more faith in the self, when you see the capacities with your body, your mind are capable, you even lose faith in humanity. You will feel more lonely. You will feel like no one understands you. Well, luckily, there's Jordan Peterson who made a community which are pretty much in this zone. So usually when having accumulating faith in this self, you go like this. Oh, thank you. Oh, holy. Like this. And then when you have self-realization, you need to go like there and have more faith in humanity. Like you can even empathize with someone and help him being the greatest version of himself that he can be. Like someone with godlike attributes, with good qualities, who can care for this family, who does good, and so on. So I think that I talked about everything for today. I'm gonna stop the video here. Well, see you next time.